Got that swimming pool full of Lipton and we diving in it. Whoa! Space Boy's back at it again. Holy shit, big dog. Tea sipping big daddies. Let's get into this video. We're back here on a little bit of MX versus ATV Supercross Encore, aka probably the most similar looking gameplay you'll see when I actually get into this. Dude, I've not played this game much at all. Because it's basically just a shittier aftermath of MX vs. ATV Alive, and then into, then it had to go into Supercross, and they had to bring back the Alive tracks because they should have just been in the fucking, they should have been with the Supercross tracks on Alive instead of all split up like they were, bro. But anyways, in this video, we're going to be talking about this new motocross track gameplay vibe shit that's out on some channels out there. I know Wyndham's one of the main ones that's got the early gameplay access shit, right? One interesting thing is, like, that gameplay to me looks the most like MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore than any other MX vs. ATV game. Like, it's not even close. I mean, you might be able to say it's got some vibes from, obviously MX vs. ATV All Out. It's got maybe some vibes from MX vs. ATV Alive, but of all the different MX vs. ATV games, I swear it is the most similar to Supercross Encore. And I certainly wouldn't say this is MX vs. ATV's, best time in their career by any stretch of the imagination. This was one of their lowest points right here. I would obviously say Encore was better than just MX vs. ATV Supercross, but, So, yeah, let's get in here and actually talk about this gameplay, this newer gameplay that's coming out right before the game comes out, right? So, is it just me, or does that shit damn near look like a literal mobile motocross game? Graphically, gameplay, physics looking, I mean, everything damn near gives me that vibe like it is a mobile dirt bike game. So basically, what we got going on here, and I think one of you guys actually said this in my Discord as well, shout out to you, big dog, but this is so true right here. It's basically like, the more and the more gameplay that I see of MX vs. ATV Legends, the worse and the worse I think the game is going to be, right? The worse and the worse vibes I get about the game, the more gameplay that I see on it. There's this interesting, very bizarre, weird sliding mechanic going on, and don't get my words twisted here. I love me a good old slide mechanic, but again, it has to be done in a realistic way. This that I'm seeing in that new motocross gameplay where they really show behind the rider on those motocross tracks, there is this very bizarre ass-end sliding, like this controlled, on ice controlled sliding sort of effect. Holy shit, when I get back into Supercross Encore, pay attention to the physics of that new gameplay on Legends. The shit is almost identical to this. It literally is almost identical to this. Super arcadey, everybody and their grandma could control it kind of slide, unrealistic ass-end sliding that basically just, you're not really going to lose a whole lot of momentum by doing it. It's very bizarre. It's almost like you're more in a car drifting fucking Tokyo Drift out here, right? More than the way an actual dirt bike would lose its ass end, or physics and inertia would carry the back end compared to the front end around on a dirt bike in a corner, right? So basically, the best thing to that new motocross track gameplay is the motocross tracks. They definitely seem to be getting back to that cool, old school MX versus ATV, big jump down a hill, wide ass open, more open scaling, kind of more like the Untamed unleashed days, but like brought into the modern era of dirt bike games in a sense. It's kind of what those stock motocross tracks looked like. I was a little shocked to not see as much of the like ruts and pre-made ruts and roughness. There's a little bit of roughness vibe going on, but maybe they're saving all of that more so for the Lucas Oil Pro motocross tracks in the game. Maybe those will be the ones where they actually put the pre-made ruts and roughness and make it more hardcore, and then keep the default tracks in the game kind of like the default tracks are on, Alive and even into Reflex a little bit. I mean, those tracks don't just have a shitload of pre-made. Reflex has some on it, but I would say Reflex has the most out of a lot of the games and shit. But yeah, so I think the terrain deformation is certainly going to play an element into this game as well, so that'll be interesting to see that. So yeah, basically it looks like this higher speed power sliding, maybe. I'm not really sure exactly what it's trying to be, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see the super arcadey, just not that realistic look to the physics of it. I mean, it's really just that simple. I know a lot of you guys are excited because we finally have a new MX vs. ATV game. I know there's a lot of these YouTubers making these somehow, always more down the positive route style videos on it, and they're getting the games early. You just want to take all that into account when this sort of hype train starts to build up. There's certainly something to that gameplay that's just not... It's not giving me a whole lot of realistic vibes, even for an arcade dirt bike game. Just because I play simulators doesn't mean I'm talking about a simulator, bruh. Even for an arcade dirt bike game, that's what I mean when I'm saying it looks more like a mobile dirt bike game to me than a modern day AAA 2022 MX vs. ATV video game, bro, on next gen consoles, bro. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying right here? And there was also another weird thing on Wyndham's motocross track gameplay where it looked like the rider model was kind of twitching in like a weird glitchy way. It was noticeable. Hell, even the sliding mechanic almost looked like a glitch. Just the fucking rider bike gameplay physics of it looked glitchy to me. There was something about it, obviously not crazy bad, but there's just something about it I was seeing there, and I don't know what's going to be fixed by the time the game's released and what's not, but that's probably what you can expect to see when the game comes out, right? So... I mean, yeah, I can see where some of you guys are seeing some, maybe better elements to the physics than what you saw in All Out. I can certainly see that a little bit. But as far as like comparing it to all these different arcade dirt bike games, I just don't think this is going to be one of those that's legendary. No pun intended, bro. I really don't. And I'm not saying it has to be... literally Reflex or has to be to the same caliber of Reflex, but I don't even know if this game is going to be good as Alive or like as good as, and you got to think everything is for its time, right? You have to expect more out of it in 2022 than you did back in 2011 whenever Alive came out, or, back in 2009 when Reflex came out, and even with Unleashed and Untamed, for their time, those games are probably going to be better than Legends is for its time, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about when I say all this. Trust me, I'm not just trying to rain on, MX vs. ATV's, rain on their parade or anything like that, but I'm just telling you what it looks like. Straight up, no bullshit. Telling you what it looks like, bro. Like, yeah, some of the elements of the physics you might could say are better than they were in All Out, but I'm talking as a whole, I'm just not blown away by the physics. I'm actually kind of shocked that they look the way that they do. It doesn't even look like a fully completed physics inertia system. Looks like they're kind of caught in the middle of a transition to a different kind of physics system or something like that. I don't really know any other way to explain that any better, but yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention here is the air physics. I know some people might be looking at it like it looks more grounded than All Out was. All Out had a very bouncy feeling to it. You know, I think a lot of people are kind of going down that road, and I would agree to you. It looks like there's more gravitational pull, but at the exact same time, it kind of looks like the mud motocross games air gravitational pull to the ground physics, right? Like it does kind of look a little bit weird like that. I don't know any other way to explain it than that, but if you ever played that, you know, Milestone's actual first dirt bike game, Mud, interestingly enough, it kind of has a similar, similar gravitational pull type effect to it. And just because something has more of a gravitational pull doesn't always necessarily mean just like a more physical, to the ground, connected feeling, right? There's a lot more aspects that goes into the inertia of the bike itself that creates that. And with this gameplay, I'm not seeing a whole lot of bike reaction, right? Not looking like a whole lot of bike reaction where you really gotta be on your toes with your leaning or whatever. I mean, yeah, the whips do look pretty smooth. It did kind of look like Wyndham was whipping a very similar way every time in that gameplay. I don't know. Hopefully they didn't restrict it down to that kind of point, right? But maybe that sometimes dudes just get in the habit of whipping the exact same way. I'm definitely guilty of that myself. But yeah, it's like, I mean, I can see some positives here, but I also see a lot of weird red flag physics-looking things at the same time. Hell, talking about what the physics really look like, the one thing you got to consider before anything is it looks kind of buggy. It looks kind of janky. It looks like not just like bad in a way, but kind of like not even completed in some different ways. I mean, that's just what it looks like to me, man. That's just what it looks like to the old Spency boy. I have been around the block a few times with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I've not actually had that controller in my hand playing the game, so there still is that little somewhat of an unknown, but that's why I'm going to be making a review on it. I'm just saying, for some of you guys that might have thought it was going to be, you know, maybe a little more above average, I think it's going to be a little more like average / below average. You know what I'm saying? Not so much above average. So be careful with those expectations. Yeah, it's basically MX versus ATV Supercross Encore's physics with just a little bit more of like a gravitational pull, like shopping cart, you know, dump a shopping cart out of two-story building type gravitational pull. And it does seem to have more of that speed effect, kind of similar to Alive a little bit, it seemed like to me. So it's basically like Supercross Encore with just a little bit more of a realistic gravitational pull, more of a speed effect at a higher speed, and maybe a little bit more glide of a feeling coming off of the jump faces. Supercross Encore is a bit, bit bizarre in that category, but yeah, but it is very similar to that. Even when I go back and play MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore, it feels like I'm playing what that looks like. And there's no mistaking that ass end, that slight ass end gliding in the corners, but like not really losing a lot of momentum. I see like this layer of a cloud underneath the bike when you're landing, when you're jumping. Yeah, it's got a gravitational pull, and yeah, it kind of has a, you know, a sling down to the ground motion. But as far as what it looks like it's physically doing to that bike, it don't seem like a whole lot to me. You know, it just really don't seem like a whole lot. But I do think the different biomes are really cool. You know, they're bringing back some cool elements to it, you know, track design-wise, biome design-wise, bigger jumps. Does kind of give me a little bit of that feeling like you're going to just be wide open everywhere and kind of everybody's going to hit somewhat of the similar jump rhythms on the motocross tracks. It does kind of give me that vibe a little bit because there's not like, it doesn't have the momentum vibe of Reflex. You know what I mean? It's got more of that slide mechanic, kind of like how Supercross Encore had. So it seems more like Supercross Encore than like the Reflex style physics system. I don't know. It's different than All Out. I will give it, it's more different than All Out than I was originally thinking. I will give it that. But it's not like I feel like they're just going the right direction with everything. It's looking bizarre to the Spency boy. Looking a little bizarre. So, either way, big dogs, I'll see you boys on that next video. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about that gameplay. And please give me real-ass opinions, not just the, woohoo, it's another dirt bike game, dude. Holy shit, dude. Oh my god, bro. Woo! Let's get hyped, dude. Let's look at all these new dudes' gameplay on YouTube where they're just going to say something really positive about it. And let's go hit these new motocross tracks in this new dirt bike game. You know what I'm saying, dude? Definitely not really thinking about how that gameplay actually looks like dog dookie. Okay, Spency boy signing out.